And I'm live! I'm back to painting. Today, we're in the painting studio again. Started a little later, I had to go do errands, but errands are done. So now I just have to paint for a couple hours. Somebody coming over for an interview for house sitting. I think I have the worst luck with house sitters right now. So I'm gonna see if I can actually record things today, because yesterday I recorded like a whole bunch of stuff on this camera and then it like didn't actually record. So just doing some test records. I wonder if I can record while it's over here. I haven't set up this camera just yet. Just testing some stuff. Might as well. So today I'm gonna paint the wolves from Grimm Forest. So yesterday I primed these and I need to fix the focus. I did a zenithal priming, and so that means is that I did a black I did a black coat of the primer, and then I went and then I did a white coat on top from like directly above slash 45 degrees. So this is like ruining my white balance. So it's to help give the illusion of sunlight, and it's really obvious. I kind of oversprayed his face on purpose, but it's really obvious the effect when you look at it upside down, because it looks weird. Like it looks like there's like so much shadow underneath, partially because of this light, but yeah, so that's how we primed it. And this one, the effect is kind of, it's there, but it's subtle. It's more obvious on things like the troll, which I also primed yesterday. So the troll, you can see, if I can get it in frame, there we go. The white balance is way too high on this. This light is too bright. We're just not gonna use this light, maybe. So you can see it's very dark under, but then it's very bright on top, because that's where sunlight would hit. So that's how I painted it. And you can really see the gradient here. It's not super smooth. I'm still getting better at that. But I really focused on his face to make sure his face is really bright. So, yeah, so that's what I did yesterday. So today we're gonna build off that and paint the wolves. And we're gonna stop this recording. Cool, it worked. I'm gonna save that recording, and then we can actually start painting. I like recorded me spinning the figures. So I don't have a drive yet for these. Okay. So like I said, today I am painting the wolves, and I only have a couple hours, so we're gonna get right into it. Straight that. Ah, I got off the camera. That's not helpful at all. Do you know when I type, I have it set up to change cameras on hotkeys, and you just deactivate that. Hey, Mom Gamer. I don't have the Mom Gamer. I don't have the email. I couldn't find Sarah's email, so I texted her asking for it, and it looks like she just replied. So let me send that to you. I'm just gonna send you the entire text message that she sent me. Okay. So the wolves are... Let's see if we can find that card from the board game. And we will just see if we can base the art off of that. So the game is Grimm, which came out earlier this year. I need like blue headphones for this. And the wolves, there's a card that they come out with. And let's see. So there's one card, it's a fable card. I'm just gonna see if there's any pictures of them in the rule book beyond the card. I don't see any. So let's see if we can find their card. There's like lots of trees and inserts in this game. It's a very like highly produced game. Okay, so they're in the Fable deck. Let's see. I'm actually just gonna pull out. There's the troll. I'm gonna pull out most of the. Hey, there's the wolf. He's right on top. So the wolf cards are all like a dark gray, it looks like. And so I'm gonna see if I can find the big bad wolf, because the big bad wolf is one I also want to paint today. I don't know if I'm gonna get to it. There's like the back of the big bad wolf is on that card. I think that, oh, there we go, big bad wolf. There's the front of him. He's very gray, so we're doing a gray color scheme for the wolves. But let's put this together. Like the inserts fit very specifically into the box, which actually makes it kind of annoying to put them away because I can't just like toss them in the box. It's like, inserts are great, but when they're too specific, they annoy me. Okay, so because the wolves, the two wolf figures and the big bad wolf all have kind of similar colors, we're gonna paint them kind of all at the same time. So let's see if we can show what these look like. Okay, so we have one piece of art for the big bad wolf, and here's another one. It's actually kind of handy, and it's him from the back. So it's him walking down the way, and this is the figure. So you can see he's wearing a green vest jerkin, and then the like cloak thing on his back is like a burgundy red, and then his fur is going to be grayish white. And he's also wearing a white shirt, and it looks like his pants, it's kind of hard to tell his pant color, but I would assume it's like a bluish gray. Probably not gray because he's gray, so it's probably blue to stick out from him. So that's kind of the plan that we're going with for him. And then the normal wolves are just very dark and scary. So this is them, and they're mostly black and gray in this art. So we're gonna do them black and gray, and what I'm debating is if I want to do one that's like a dark brown in addition, so they're a little different, but it might be easier just to do the two kind of the same. I feel like it's a little boring, but who knows. So I got my water, I got my brushes, I got my palette. So I've recently upgraded to a professional wet palette because I got it for like $12. So I was like, why not? So actually just gonna paint on top of it. Give it a nice white backdrop. So it's a wet palette. It's got my paint from yesterday and it's actually still wet, which is pretty wholesome. I'm gonna rearrange it a little bit. Today I'm gonna start brushing with a number 5 brush. This is what I was painting with yesterday. I really liked it. Hilariously, most of my brushes have been like annoying me lately. I've really kind of outgrown them from a painting standpoint, like my skill level, which is really awesome and trippy for me to say, but it's also sad because now I have all these like brushes that I used to love that I'm like, ooh. I might use a Citadel medium layer brush at some point. We'll see, but I'm gonna start and see how far I can go with this. So I'm gonna start with these guys because they're big and easy. So they're standing on a rock, and under the rock is some details, and I'm gonna paint those kind of last. I'm gonna start with the wolf itself, I think, and though I could start with the rock that the wolf is on, but I think painting the rock, I can do some like test brushes to see how I feel about it. I feel like painting the rock, I might get the wolf's feet. So actually, I think I'm gonna start with the rock, which is maybe a little more boring, but that's okay. So I think what I'll do is we're just gonna do kind of, because the wolf is gonna be gray, I don't wanna make the rock super gray because I don't want a gray blackish wolf on top of a gray blackish rock. So I might do more of a brown color for the rock, but then there's brown logs. So it's kind of like, ooh, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? It's the hardest part, is picking the colors, right? Right. Sorry, they're working on the house next door, which is like 10 feet that way. So it's the noise that you keep hearing. I'm super undecisive on what I want to do for this. There's so many options. Hey, Knitting Gamer Hansen. Oh, Eden, I've been watching you knit that sweater and I'm just amazed. You are such a fast knitter. Even when I was knitting a ton, I could not knit a sweater as quickly as you were knitting it. I am blown away by it. Okay, because I'm being so indecisive about the rock, I'm just gonna actually start with the wolf. So, because I know I want it to be a gray wolf, I'm gonna start with just like a medium grayish color. Shadowed stone is what I'm gonna go with on that one to start, and I'm gonna thin it pretty well. Yeah, I might even lighten the color a little bit to start. So we'll see. So I'm just gonna start with 2 drops of Shadowed Stone, accidentally 2.5, and I'm gonna thin it with a drop of water, and then I think yeah, that'll be a good starting point. So it's a good consistency. I want it thin enough that all of the that you can see the layers through it. I adjusted my camera so of course my focus is off. And the best part about this is I have 2 wolves, so I can mess up. I can play with it, which is the best part. That's why I'm starting with them. Okay. So I'm just kind of going all over the body with the wolf. And honestly, if I wasn't doing a painting tutorial, I would / could just airbrush this entire base layer. Because really all I want, the wolf is very straightforward. I kind of just want to do all of his fur, and then I'll add some color highlights and like differentiation between patches, and like add some like dog fur detail for coloring later. But for right now, I'm just doing a good, consistent base everywhere. I'm also not a fan of the lighting. So I want to make sure in the areas where he's got fur, I'm getting in and getting in there, but I don't want to put too much paint that I lose the detail of the fur. I want to make sure I have full coverage, but not so much coverage that I lose the nice little carving details that the sculptor has put in. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to bring in a studio light. I feel like the camera changing colors going to annoy me when I edit. So I want to make sure that the layer of paint that I'm putting on is thin so that I don't lose the zenithal lighting effect that I did when I was priming. Alright, now I'm glad I didn't start with the rock because I'm just getting paint all over that rock. It's always important to get your wolf undercarriage. So while I'm in here in the fur, I'm really trying to make sure I don't let any paint pool in the nooks and crannies. And I actually don't need to worry about being too precise on getting everything covered in the fur because when I go in out of wash, it'll go in and fill all the little cracks that I'm missing. So it's more important that I don't overpaint and lose the detail than that I fill every nook and cranny. Slash, I don't want to ruin my brush, which trying to like jam paint in those will definitely ruin your brush. So. So you can kind of see some of the lighting effect that I did with that priming is coming through this thin coat that I'm doing. I don't know if it's showing on the camera, but I can definitely tell a little bit of a difference. Hey Joanna! Hey Greybeard! These wolves are gonna be super dark and super mean. So dark that my camera is like having brightness issues. Slash my palette's not helping. Let's move that out of the way. So the white balance isn't trying to like freak out. I don't know what they're doing in the house next door, but you can kind of see. So it's kind of tough. So there's actually like a natural highlight that's happening with the zenithal priming that I did, and it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but if you turn it upside down, maybe we can see it, because it would look a little weird. It's pretty subtle. But I want to make sure I get the wolf's face his little nose and his ear. Just a good gray base coat. And actually the next one, I think I'm gonna thin the paint even more than I did with this one. This is a good coverage consistency, but I actually think I want the paint a little thinner to show through that highlight. I'm gonna try not to paint the teeth, but it's not a big deal if I get the teeth, because I can always do more layers of white. And then I want to make sure I get the wolf undercarriage. We painted it, we primed black on the undercarriages to make sure that if we did miss any area while we were painting, it's not the end of the world. It'll just be black and in shadow. But I still want to try and get to where I can get with a paintbrush. So these wolves are going to be super easy, and I'm hoping I can get both of them done here in the 2 hours I have before my next appointment. So I'm just making sure I'm getting the back sides of the legs and feet. Because the wolf is the first thing I'm painting, I don't have to worry about getting paint on anything else because nothing else is painted. His woofy butt. I forgot to paint his little woofy butt. So yeah, his hip is like super bright right there, and it's because the light was hitting it. The white paint was hitting it when I did the priming. And so there's some areas that are just already noticeably brighter, at least to me, through this thin coat of paint. Like his back is much brighter than his sides. The wolves are jerks in the game. I haven't played a full game yet. We're gonna play with a painted one. We're probably gonna stream it before we send it off. The winner of this live game, who I am painting this game for, lives in Canada. So I was like, oh wow. You're just gonna have to wait until I paint it. And he was like, no worries. So. Alright. I think that's pretty good coverage. And because I have this gray paint, because I'm going to paint the other wolf, I don't need to paint everything right now. But this is a good base coat on this paint. And I'm actually going to clean my brush between paintings so that I can get, oops, I really need to stop using pill bottles as my things. They fall over really easily. So I want to clean my brush between figures because these figures are so big and I'm just doing so much color at once. I want to make sure I can get the paint out before it has time to dry or get up into the end of it. So you can see, so this is with a base coat versus just prime. So you can kind of see that highlighting that we did is still there. The brightness, you can still see the light, the white versus the like darker gray gradient that we did, and it still kind of comes through on the painted one through the base coat. So you can really see it on like the rib cage and stuff. That detail, that shadowing is maintained, which is exactly what I wanted. So, yeah, looks pretty good. So now I'm gonna do the other wolf, and I'm actually just gonna thin my paint a little more because this one I want to have a little bit thinner. Or did I thin too much? I thinned too much! So I'll add another drop of paint. I've learned so much the more I paint, and I've like done research. So when I was doing the Mice and Missy series, it was just like, this is what I think looks good, and this is what works, and this is what I figured out. And now I've like done research, and I painted so much that I'm like, oh, Well, the reason why if you thin your paint too much it gets like it does is because when you use water to thin your paints, you're basically spreading the pigment out. And so that's why it kind of, if you thin too much, it becomes like a wash. Whereas if you use an acrylic, like medium thinner, the pigment actually like will be divided and thinned with the thinner. And so you're not just spreading out the pigment, you're actually breaking it down and thinning it that way. But that's too much science. Really, it's just don't thin too much, but you want it to thin and flow pretty easy. So you can see this one's a lot thinner than the last coat I did. So the fur is definitely staying a brighter color, and the paint is just kind of like adding a thin kind of glaze almost to it, which is what I wanted, because on this one I want it to be a little lighter gray. I don't want the wolves to look identical. Plus I'm experimenting with technique and to see which one I like better for the painting tutorial. It's the great thing about having two is that I can experiment and decide if I like one technique better, and then when I go to film it, I can be like, do this, not this. So that one, it's a lot more subtle. The gray color, and it means that that priming that I did really comes through. Which is what I want. So I liked this amount of thinning more. I like this one with thinning a lot more. These are such great sculpts to paint because they're so large. It's really a great set to start painting with because there's not many super tiny details. Even on the figures that have a lot of details, they're not so tiny that you would feel like you have to have like a magnifying lens or something to paint it. So that's one of the reasons why when Evo offered painting challenge thing, it wasn't a challenge, it was a painting giveaway, I jumped on the chance to paint one of these figures. And I did like a Twitter thread about it. And then I ended up getting a full copy of the game sent to me. Thank you, James. And when I saw all the figures, I was like, gotta do a painting tutorial. They're just too beginner painting friendly. And there's actually already been a couple painting tutorials online. There's even like one on the Druid City blog, though it stops. But I figure still want to do one my way. So I'm happy that the fire was lit under my butt by this being put into the giveaway. By raising so much money. We raised so much more money than we thought we were. It was crazy. We seriously thought like $500 is a good goal. Like we'll get $500 over the weekend, and if nothing else, like we can do a hard push and we can hit it, and not a big deal. Yeah, we raised the $500 like instantly. It's like, oh, okay. What else do we do? So, we had only talked about a couple things, and so we were kind of scrambling for what to give away. And it was like, well, I could paint Grimm Forest really fast. So, that's what we decided to go with. I thought that would give us more time, and then James was just like, oh, here's a donation large enough to get you to the goal so the Grimm Forest is unlocked. It's like, thanks, James. Oh. James and us, we're not, James is in LA, I thought. It's like 16 hours away. Alright. I think I've got, I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss anywhere under his chin. Oops. James moved from Alabama. It's true, it is the same road. I could hop on I-5. I wouldn't have to go far off the road. It's just 15 hours on that road. If you want to come up for games, James, come anytime. Just let us know. We'll have a game set up by the time you get here. Alright, so that is done. I'm gonna use much lighter. I'm gonna show you the difference here in a sec. I just want to clean the brush. Okay. So you can really see. Oh, can you see? There's a pretty big difference in the shade color. Okay, I lied. It's not a huge difference, but there's a little bit of difference in the darkness of these two, just by thinning the paint. So it's like a subtle difference, but it'll really come out later. Twin wolves! Here, look. If I go under the table and mix them up, I think I can still point out which is the later. Wow, that didn't help. You know what I realized is in a all primed one, you can even see the difference from the bases. Like this one's way lighter. And it might just be because of the thin paint, it might be because I did more white in the priming. But yeah. So for now, those are good. So now, while I have the gray paint out, because the Big Bad Wolf is also gray, he's a gray fur, I'm going to go ahead and do his fur color. So I'm just gonna get some paint. I've been like ignoring the YouTube chat. I did prime them. I primed them earlier. Okay. For some reason, we have more people in the Twitch than the YouTube today. Which is fine. So I'm not crazy concerned if I get it on anything else, but because his shirt's gonna be white, I do want to do my best to not get it on his shirt. But if I do, it's not the end of the world. It's not a huge problem. But I'm going to do my best to be careful and not get it. There we go. There we go. It's got some fancy face tufts going on. There's a good amount of fur detail whenever they've like sculpted the fur tufts, and so I want to make sure I get paint on all of that fur detail. So that might mean I get some paint on his clothing. Not a huge deal. He doesn't have a lot of fur details, so I'm not super stressed. Still want to try and be careful. And also, I find that when painting like necks and stuff close to collars, it's helpful to turn the figure upside down and then hit the camera with my glasses, and that really helps. And again, when I'm painting his snout, I don't super mind if I get some on his teeth, but because his teeth are gonna be white, I do want to try not to put them on there. But see, it's a lot easier to paint his chin and along his shirt as I hold it upside down. And the benefit is I can see areas that I might have missed. And his fur tufts and whatnot. And again, I don't want to do thick coats, I just want to do thin coverage. Make sure I get the color down. Alright, and then he doesn't actually have much more fur. He's got his tail, which is big and fluffy, and his hands. So. Well, thanks, Kabuki, for swinging by. So the chat, who asked? Joanna asked if the wolves had names, and they asked James, but the cards don't have names on them for the wolves, because there's more wolf cards than there are like wolf figures. So I don't know if they have names. I might end up naming them by the end of the stream. Left and right. Is that a boring name? So his tail goes right up to basically the seam of where his pants are, where his vest or shirt is. So I want to make sure I get all the way up there, but again, try to avoid the clothing. Not a huge deal. I'm actually like running out of paint on my palette and I don't want to mix more because I am that kind of person. So I'm trying to make this work. I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, I'm gonna have to mix more paint, I think. Thanks, James. Have a good dinner. Okay, so it's a great time to test my paint ratio. So I think what I was doing was like probably 3 drops to 2 drops of paint. Or sorry, 3 drops of paint to 2 drops of water. I think is what my final ratio was. So we shall see. Yeah, that looks about right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So, back to the painting. Hey, it's amazing how much better coverage you get. You actually have paint on your brush. What a coincidence. Joanna thinks that the wolf should be named Kevin and Ralph. What are good names? I just did like a stripe on his pants. But I ain't gotta worry because I haven't painted his pants yet. Get him the toes. Probably my paint ratio. Because I have to make so much paint when I do it. Alright, so his staff, he's got like a walking cane. His walking cane is on his foot. So, just going out of pan, base the walking cane. Make sure the backside of the tail, the backside of his legs, got like some crossed leg yoga pose thing going on. If I don't get in there too deep, it's fine because I primed black under there, so the shadows will just be nice and deep. But I want to make sure, again, that I don't put too much paint on and lose any detail. So I'm just kind of going back with a more dry brush and taking out any excess paint that I might have. But it's really interesting, I'm realizing now his front leg is like, there's no sculpt detail on his front leg. So it's just a splattering of paint. Oh yeah, I did see that, Joanna. The Who's She Kickstarter, it's a riff on Guess Who, except for it's all famous women. You guessed based on your accomplishments. I did, but like, I think most people who play it would still probably play based on appearances. I'm such a cynic. Pick up a lot of that stuff. Whenever you, like, essentially because of the Zenithal priming that I did, it's like a gray primer. So I'm painting gray on top of gray. Always annoying. Alright. So this mini, they did something I hate. So there's some zero space. Ugh, I hate zero space. So basically, there's a point on this mini where it's right there, where that would be a gap. So that would be a gap in his arm right there, but they didn't cut that out. And so instead it's kind of like this like empty blank space, and so you have to decide how you want to paint it. Like you could either just do, this happens a lot in board game minis, so you can either just do like a black. What's going on with this hand right here? But okay. So you can either do a black, or we could like say it's part of his capelet, which I think is what I'm going to end up doing. But it's like, if you were being realistic, it's a little too far forward in his muscle to be part of his cape. So I'm going to paint it a very dark version of his cape whenever I paint his cape. But that's extra frustrating. Cool. So I've done the gray fur on this one. I'm going to make sure his face has all the gray bits it should have. And then I will lament about the fact that I mixed too much gray and I don't need to do it. Hey, Jan! Well, hello from France! Thanks for swinging through. So now I've got the wolves, their fur done. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do some washes on these. And actually, I'm really tempted. I have so much gray. I actually could paint the bridge for the troll. So the troll is like hiding under this bridge. And the bridge, I'm just gonna make a gray bridge. I actually have the card for the troll. I pulled it out. And it's kind of like a stone bridge with like wood in the art, but this is obviously, there's obviously no wood bridge part of this. There's like a tree. So while I have gray paint, I have so much gray paint, I'm actually just gonna be smart. I'm gonna use it on this bridge. So the zenithal priming on this is like super obvious and I'm in love with it. So we want to make sure we don't lose a lot of that like highlight details, so we're still using the thin paints. And I'm not going to worry too much about getting the paint like super deep in the cracks. Because when I do a wash later, the paint will get in there, like the black wash. So for now, I'm just gonna kind of do a base coat. And because we primed gray, it's actually not, I don't need to cover super like thick. I just want to make sure it's got this darker gray that we're going for. And I want to make sure I don't get any of the like brown effects or anything. Just kind of get into the mortar. I want to make sure I don't have paint pooling in the mortar cracks. I have this like big blank side right here that I'm just gonna paint. There's a lot to paint on this like brick facade, so I'm glad I guess I have a lot of paint. Like what else do you do when you have a lot of gray? Paint the side of a bridge, why not? Part of this right here is the tree, so I want to make sure I get just the stone. I want the tree. There we go. The bridge looks like I already painted. Yeah, that's the effect of the priming that I did. It's magic! So I'm just doing a thin coat of the gray because I don't want to lose a lot of that highlighting that the priming did. But that was just priming. The sculpt is so good and there's so many big details on the bridge that the zenithal priming just was like amazing. It just looked good already. So I don't want to lose that. So you can see a lot of the like bright highlight effects that existed still exist through my layer of gray that I'm putting down, but it's just gonna add the color, like more of a color gradient. So I want to make sure I don't leave too much paint in the mortar and like the crevices, and I get paint kind of equally everywhere, and then the priming job that I did will help with the gradient effect. So, there you go. It's just a bunch of gray on the side. So you can kind of see, sort of still has the effect. It's gonna fall off. This is so heavy. Just hold it there, guys. So just want to make sure I get painted. The underside, I'm actually not super worried about. So I want to make sure that I get the part that like curves under. But the very top of the bridge, the very like tip top of the bridge, I'm gonna leave the black prime that I have because I like how dark it is. So I'm just gonna kind of leave that color and just paint the outer recesses. Now I'm running out of gray again. And that's just how it is. It's like the nacho cycle. So the tree I'm gonna do with brown, so I'm gonna just make sure I get as little paint as possible on the tree. But again, I'm not crazy worried about it. As long as I'm not coming in with like a ton of paint, it shouldn't do a lot of damage. And really brown will cover up the gray pretty easy. So if I get brown on something that I want to be, or if I get gray on something I want to be brown, it's not hard to fix it. The problem is when you get gray on something that you want to be white. When you get a dark color on top of something that you want to be brighter later, that's where it gets tough to cover. And the same is the other way, right? Where if I get a bright paint on something that I want to be darker later, it's a little harder to cover. But the troll is going to be like a lightish green color, so make sure I don't get too much paint on the troll. So I only have the top of the bridge and then this little segment down here. There we go. Now all that beautiful highlighting that I did comes through and it's stone colored. So now I just have to do the top of the bridge, which some of it has bled over, but and then I gotta paint again. So this top part is super bright because it got a lot of like the white when I was priming it, which, you know, it would direct. It's like the most in the sun right at the very top of the bridge. So I'm just giving a quick paint everywhere and then just do the stones as much as I can with what paint I have left. So I'm not gonna worry too much about the bottom crevices. I'm running out of paint. I'm gonna try wetting my palette to pick up whatever paint I can, because I don't want to mix more. So I'm almost doing like a wash more than brushing right now. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Alright, I'm gonna have to put more paint down. Side face. Alright, so got some more paint, but it's pretty thinned because of me throwing water on the palette. So I might just have to kind of smooch paint around because it's like a big textured area. And actually, it's a bridge, right? Like, these stones are supposed to be worn and weathered, so I'm not super concerned about having like a beautiful, perfect, smooth painted texture on them. It's more of like, just get coverage. So if there's scratch marks, or if there's brush marks, they'll look like scratch marks, which, you know, it's fine. But I just keep on myself. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I like it! Yeah, and I can just let it dry a little bit and then go back and add more later to it. But I used up the gray. Success. I'm happy it became an ASMR video. Night yawn. Alright. So now I'm gonna do a wash. And because I want these wolves to be very dark, I'm actually gonna do a black wash. So I still feel there's a difference. So for black wash, you can make your own black wash, which is really easy to do. And I've done it before in videos, but I'm going to use a wash this video. So I just have Game Colors black wash. It's very basic. If you have Citadel minis, you can do non-oil, I think is the name of the black wash. It's all the same, right? So I'm just gonna put, this is an 8-bit base wash. You can make your own wash by just doing like 1 drop of black paint to 4 drops of water. But I'm just gonna use this. And I'm gonna do, so sometimes when I do washes, I'm like, go crazy! So on this one, I'm gonna use my brush. I'm gonna be a little bit more precise or consistent on where I want this brush, this wash going. So the fur is like the area that will benefit from it the most because there's so many nooks and crannies. So I want to make sure that it really gets into the fur. And one of the best ways to do that is to kind of brush against the grain or along the grain. So the fur strikes are going this way, right? So I could go left to right or bottom to top to really make sure I get wash down in those crevices. And the minifig actually has a seam line where the head was attached to the figure. So, just gonna go ahead and add wash there as well. So, I'm gonna get this like fur area everywhere done. I really want to make sure that I get wash very darkly into every fur recess. I want to make sure that there's wash in every fur recess, but there's not so much that I lose detail. So once the wash has some time to sit, I may come back. Well, I will come back and kind of pull it out. But I also want to make sure I wash the smooth areas of the figure, because you'll end up finding little sculpt details that you didn't notice before. His toes. Gotta wash his toes. His face. He's got a nice eyebrow crease. Make sure I get paint across his forehead creases. I just want to make sure I get around the eyes and any face creases. Up the ears. So the eyes, I want to make sure I wash really well, because the like shadows of the eye sockets will be good. And I also want to get some wash in his mouth. I know I was like, don't get wash on the white, but like, trust me, just get a little bit in there. It'll really seep in. You don't want to leave too much wash in any of the crevices, like the ears or whatnot, or the eye sockets, and make sure you get it kind of moved around. I want them to have dark eye sockets, but not like black holes for eyes. So I want to make sure that I get the wash everywhere. Get some detail on his tail. Toesies. And it's still important to paint the like smooth areas, like I said, because you'll end up finding details that the sculptor put in that you didn't realize, and it also will actually kind of glaze the figure and add some color differences, which I want, because these are meant to be dark wolves. Armpits are important. It's a dark boy now. That's what I wanted. Very dark. That is scatty. I love it. Alright. So now you can really see my peanut brush up. So I can show the difference. So the wash is still wet on the one, but you can see a lot. He looks so much meaner now. Like his angry, the shadow parts of him have become more pronounced. He's also darker, which is what I wanted because he's meant to be a darker wolf. These are supposed to be blackish wolves. And I'll actually maybe add some more shadows and darkness here in a bit. I have a 5:30, so in like 45 minutes I have to stop. Well, probably 30 minutes I have to stop. So I'm gonna get this one washed really fast, and then maybe we can get some of the highlighting in that I want to do on these wolves. So I'm gonna try and be a little faster with this one. First wash takes a while to dry, so even if I'm fast, if they haven't dried, I can't do the next step. So to speed this up, I'm basically just loading my brush up and then just dumping it on the figure and then going back and moving it around, kind of mopping it around the figure into the areas that I want. It's just as effective. Just means that there's more chance that you'll accidentally leaf wash an area you don't want. So you better be careful to go back and really clean up when you do it this way. See, I got a little too much on his neck crevice, so we're gonna get in there and move around and clear some out. Also, a little bit on his eye, drowned his eyeballs. Make this small. Top of his foot got a little too much. Clean out his tail a little bit. Now some areas on his tail got kind of drowned. Alright. Oh, yep, so he's got a lot right there. Kind of move that around a little bit. Alright, cool. So, I think that's good. Very fast. Alright, wash my brush. The one I just dry brushed isn't done yet, so... No. Do... The goof. So... Again, because his shirt's gonna be white, and his clothings are actually going to be more of a... His clothing's gonna be white and like maroon and a little bit of blue. I actually want to be really careful just to wash his fur, because I'm gonna do his clothing probably with a brown wash. I just want him to be darkened. That's why I'm doing the wash now and not later. So like, if all of him was going to be more of like a brownish tone or warm tones, I would just wait to wash the entire figure all at once. But because he is gray, which is a cool tone, so I want to do a brown wash, or sorry, I want to do a black wash on him, but his clothing is going to be more warm instead of cool. So I want to do, well, his clothing's kind of greenish, but I want to do more of a brown wash on his clothing rather than a dark wash. So that's why I'm washing his fur now. And who knows, maybe when I get to the clothing of this guy, I'll change my mind and decide I want to do a black wash on his clothing. But it's easy. Oh yeah, you can really see the fur detail come out on his tail with this wash. Which is what I want. Painting fur is so easy. It's very satisfying to paint fur, because when you add the wash on a well-defined fur, it just makes all the difference. It's amazing. Always brings me joy. Adding wash to fur. Yeah. So then I want to make sure I get his hands to really highlight where his fingers. It's like, it's not quite a fist. He's kind of got a fist on his hip. I want to make sure wash to get his finger position highlighted, and then the fingers on the staff. Really making sure I get this hand really well with the cuffs, the sleeve cuff, and he's got like knuckles defined on this. It's crazy. So, it's a really good sculpt. Oh yes. Such a smug little sculpt. It's amazing. Just want to punch him in the face. So there we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Love it. Boom. Alright. And I've been doing all of this with just a number 5 brush, which is absurd. I need to go get a number 2. But I'm really... These sculpts are so big. You really don't need super tiny fine tip brushes. I actually am happy I have a number 5 because they're so big that it helps. So, I mean, you can really see the detail pop on this fur color. It's amazing. I love it. So, my wolves are much darker now, and their fur has a lot more detail. And so we're gonna do some detailing, some highlights, and I only have like 30 minutes. Really quickly though, I want to make sure I make note of the ratio that I did. So 3, 2, 1, shadowed. Stone. Alright, so the wolf fur was 3, 2 shadowed stone, black wash. Fur. Okay. I think I can maybe do. Alright, so I'm gonna do some dry brushing highlights on this to really do some stuff, but I don't want to actually brighten him too much. I just want to give him some color depth. So I'm actually going to do a black dry brush, and then I'm going to do a lighter gray dry brush to like bring some highlights. So I'm actually going to darken this figure, and then I'm going to bring the color back up. So I'm going to take some black, some pure black, which I actually think I still have some in the palette, but that's fine. Actually, let's use that. And I'm dry brush. And I actually am using a e.l.f. contour brush, which is a makeup brush for my dry brushing. So I'm just gonna make sure I have barely any paint on the brush. And then I'm just gonna kind of brush it on. And I'm just gonna stick to the high edges of the wolf. I'm just gonna kind of do just right up the straight of the back. And then I'm gonna do the fur and the faces. But I won't be able to dry brush everywhere. Like, I can't get the underside. I can try. But basically, so Xena, our dog Xena, is a dark dog. She is like this dark brown black dog, and you don't really notice how much color she actually has until you put her in light. And then you realize she's got like super dark patches, and then she's got super bright patches, and so that's what I want to do with these dogs, is I want to make them, these wolves, I want to make them have different layers of darkness in their fur, just like a real dog. So I'm just kind of dry brushing everywhere, like the arms, the tails, the butt, the fur, to add a layer of interesting complexity and the fur color. And it's super subtle, which is what I want, right? And so, like, the wolf has an undercoat. Dogs have undercoats, right? So the undercoat could be brighter. Like, Ichi's undercoat is bright white. Her undercoat is so white. And then her overcoat is this, like, sable orange color. And so real dogs and wolves have different color undercoats and overcoats. And so that's why I'm doing a dry brush highlight of black to like show that, you know, dogs and wolves, they have many colors. And so the wash is black, the base coat is gray, but we've got a highlight that's like blackish brown. So it added a little bit of darkness, which is good. Let's see if we can see a difference. A little bit. It's very subtle. I think it's, does it show up on camera? It's not super great on camera. Because you can really kind of see it on his butt. See how the black, there's like more interesting colors going on this guy. So I'm actually going to do a little bit more dry brushing of black because I want it to be more obvious what I'm going for here. Great, and I'm just experimenting. Maybe this doesn't work. Maybe this attempt at getting this kind of lighting fails. But at least I tried, right? And it'll look interesting. I already like how it's looking. So it's definitely adding a lot of interesting texture and depth to the Minnie's fur. It's definitely making it look a little bit more dark and sinister, which I like. Very cool. And so now I'm gonna really mix it up. So I'm gonna take some dark brown, and this might be a mistake. This might be, you know, the worst mistake I've ever made, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So I'm gonna do just a drop of dark brown, and I'm gonna dry brush that into this mix. So, I'm gonna really make sure I don't have a ton of this paint because I really only want the subtle hint of brown, right? So I'm gonna really make sure that I don't have a ton of it on this paintbrush. And I'm just gonna do kind of the fur area and see if I like it. And it might not even show up, right? Because we have a lot of darkness going on. It's very subtle. It's very subtle. No thanks for 90 bucks. Wow. Yeah, that's a yeah, obvious one. The brown is super subtle. I don't know if it actually is visible. I'll do a little bit more on it. We'll call it good. But let's see if you can see the difference. So I would say there's definitely a difference in these two figures in color. The one is definitely darker. That black dry brushing really added a lot of depth, I feel. Definitely darkened it. So now what I'm gonna do... yeah. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the colors up a little. So I'm gonna do a black drop of paint. Wow, that black needs some help. And then I'm going to do some white on my palette as well. And I'm going to slowly blend them together so that I don't go straight from a black to a gray wash. like a super bright gray. I want to do a subtle, like a slightly lighter black. Yeah. So I'm basically doing like a highlight. So you can see right here on my hand, it's a very subtle difference, right? But I'm basically doing a highlight gradient, but I'm just doing it with dry brushing. So I'm just going to try and get just that gray that I just mixed. And the great thing about your hand is you can always do palette blending with your hand, or see how you feel about colors. So I like to do a lot more brushing of the black than I want to do of the lighter colors, because I don't want to just cover up what I was doing with the black with this lighter color. So I don't want to do as much of the wolf. I just want to do kind of the highlight areas. Let's go ahead and blend more. Let's go higher contrast. Yeah. Alright. So now I'm gonna do kind of a medium gray, kind of like what I almost base it with. Let's see how that looks. A little later, bring it back down. You can see that the back of the figure still has a darker, like, interesting shadow going on. Let's go even lighter with this dry brush. So now we're going really light. I always like have this like moment of truth feeling when I dry brush like a super contrasting color. Is it gonna work? It's good. It's really subtle. I'm gonna focus kind of just on the face for a second with it. And this brush is so good at dry brushing because it's a contour brush. It's meant for like blending. It's just meant for blending makeup on your face. So I love it. I love using it for minis painting. It's like the only makeup brush I own. I got that tip from Terry. Wargaming Girl, I think her name is on Twitter. Yeah, so now you can definitely see the raised edges of the fur. It's totally not showing up on camera, I feel. I'm gonna do a little bit more. And And just focusing on that like textured fur area and the cheeks, and by extension the ears because they're in the way. And the tail has textured fur that I want to go in there. I don't know if it shows on camera super well, but it's kind of, it doesn't super show. There's a very subtle difference in the gray, but I'm actually gonna add some weight, some more weight, and we're gonna go a little higher on the color. So I want to finish with a dry brush that's like almost just white. But I don't want to jump straight from black to white. So this white is a lot closer to a light gray. And I could be doing this all with like edge highlighting, which is a technique that I have not filmed. So this is a lot lighter of a color. Oh yeah, so this is huge difference. And I just want to lightly dry brush because it's such a big difference. If I get it in too many, if I get it too thick on, it'll just like overpower the wash. And the other dry brush on the other one. Oh yeah, there's a big difference on the shoulders now. A little bit more of a older wolf. Put some on the tail. So that's now big difference. I actually think I might be done with him. So I think that we might be done with his fur. Yeah, I think I might be done with his fur. Kabuki Kid. We got, by the time we got there, it was pretty picked through Black Friday. So we actually, we got, what did we get? We got the complete Blu-ray set of the Avatar, the Korra Avatar, which neither of us has really seen. We're still, Steve hasn't seen the Avatar Last Airbender, so we're still working through that. Kinda, you can see the fur difference. There you go. You can really see the fur difference on this side. So we got that, and then we actually got a vacuum. We got a Dyson, one of the cordless Dyson vacuums. I'm just painting my hand black now, that's all I'm doing. So this is the second wolf. Am I right? This is the second wolf? I was like, yes. Yes, this is the second wolf. Okay. I've wanted, oh yeah, that's a lot better. I have a lot of black on this paint, so this is a very exaggerated black dry brush. But that's what I want. So the gray is kind of almost the undercoat of gray is more of an undercoat highlight. Yes, darken, my friend. Darken. That's what I want. Yes. I have a lot of black paint on that. Now I'm just gonna do gray. What else did we get? We got Ferris Bueller's Day Off because Steve had never seen it. I'm trying to remember. We really didn't get a lot. We just got the vacuum. That was like the biggest thing. Love this vacuum. Use it basically every day. We have like a big animal Dyson vac to help with the dogs, like all the hair and stuff. But to pull it out and plug it in is kind of a pain in the butt right now because my health stuff, it's like been extra pain in the butt to pull it out and plug it in. So now this is like a super lightweight hand cordless vac that I can just pull out and vacuum willy-nilly, which is great. So this one, I'm not gonna do the like lots of layers of gradients. I'm actually just gonna jump in and see what happens if I go straight from doing the black dry brush to this lighter gray color. Oh wow, that is a quick and dirty and gradient. I love it. So I'm just gonna do like, I did the black kind of everywhere and really darkened the figure. But I'm just gonna do the gray kind of just on his fur, the really puffy fur side, and just gently down the center of his back, kind of like a skunk stripe. And then make sure I get his tail really well. And his cheeks. And then I think I'm gonna call this one done. That was so fast. It was super fast. Do a little bit more of his face. But yeah, Black Friday was crazy. There's a lot of teenagers just hanging out at the Target. And then there was a couple like people shopping, like legit shopping for presents. I helped a grandma find a gift for her grandson, which is obsessed with Pokemon. And they didn't know what to get him. So somebody's gonna be coming over in 10 minutes, so I need to wrap this up, but I'm so into it! But I used to really like Black Friday shopping, and it just really frustrated me this time. There were so many teenagers and people that were just kind of being like there to shop. They didn't have like specific gifts in mind. And that was my favorite part of Black Friday, when you go in with like a very specific list But I guess all those people came much earlier than we were there, so that's probably part of it. Yeah, I'm gonna call this boy done. Oh man, yeah. I like that fur. That was a lot faster. And it accomplished what I wanted in significantly less steps. Cleaning my dry brush is always kind of a nightmare. Did you know contour brushes hold a lot of paint? So yeah, so the one ended up being a lot darker, the one where I went crazy on the black dry brush. And then I did the light gray, and I just like it a lot. So that's the one I'm probably going to do in the tutorial. It's just a really simple, do a full body black dry brush, and then go over with like a light white. So yeah, those are the wolves. So I will be back later this evening to stream again, painting like the teeth and the eyes in the background, and then we'll get on to the clothes of this one, which I haven't done the dry brushing on him. Ugh. Like, do I have time? I just made this brush wet. I have another one. Yay! I have another one. So I'm gonna use the white because he's a lot brighter on the card than the other two. So I'm gonna just go straight to the white. And I don't have to worry about his clothes at all because they're not painted. So I can just really get the dry brushing on. How is this dude standing? Oh, it adds some amazing texture to the tail. And his hand. Zip, I should say. Yeah. And then his face. Don't you love when you're almost out of paint on your palette? And you're trying to rush a dry brush. So he's got like a lot of gray on his face on the card, so kind of going crazy with the gray for his stuff. Oh wow, it makes his eyebrows super great. I love dry brushing and seeing what like the sculptor has highlighted or like kept high. Spoilers, it's his eyebrows. Look at that sly dog. Love it. Alright. I'm going to log off for now. It's beautiful. Dry brushing done, base coating done on the fur. So the furs are done. I need to clean these brushes super good, and then I have an appointment with a new dog sitter. So, I'll be back later to do the clothes and finish up like the eyes and the teeth and stuff. I'll be like recording, I'll be streaming my entire painting process of all these guys. So, if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you want to make sure you're here for whenever I just randomly decide to stream, go ahead and subscribe or follow me on Twitch. So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me, y'all. I will be back later this evening, probably after dinner, maybe before dinner, I'm not sure, to finish up the wolves, because today I want to finish the wolves. So, thanks for hanging out. Goodbye. I'm like, where's the camera?